Hey, welcome to my Micro Business Diaries series. My name is Joddie Taylor, and on this series, I chat about my micro business and resources for content creation, personal and professional development. I share an Amazon find. I share a follow of the week, someone who I think is dope, and you can find online either on social media, or on their website or newsletter. And a micro fit check. So let's start with the micro fit check. I'm wearing a Joe's Rocker tank. I love this color. This is Red Frost. I own 3 of these, and the other colors I have are Navy Frost and I think Black Frost. This is a size medium. My bottom is Adidas 3-stripe leggings. I love these things. They're super comfortable. I will say a couple of things with these leggings. I bought them. They were black. See, black, black. This is like a different shade of black, and I find this to be true with a lot of my black clothes, so it's not a knock on Adidas. If you stick around a bit and you hear me talking about clothes and shoes, I own a lot of Adidas. I love Adidas. I am moving away from buying black clothes, in particular cottony clothes, because I just find that they fade on me. Also, these 3 stripes, it's getting threadbare. I think I've owned these leggings for 3 years. And again, this is not necessarily a knock. This is not a knock on Adidas. Maybe it's me. Good eating and good living. Thick thighs. What is the expression? Thick thighs. Thick thighs save lives. The first time I put these leggings on, I heard a pop. and it's been, the thread has been like coming out on the sides ever since. But I still wear them. They're super comfortable. So something to keep in mind. So I think I will look it up. I don't know how interested you are. I feel like these are a size large, but they might be a size medium tall. And I'm 5 feet 11 inches. Maybe I should have got an extra large. Maybe. Okay, so that is the micro fit check. Let's do an Amazon find. It's going to be what I'm wearing right now, my Black Girl sunscreen. This comes in 2 fluid ounces or 3 fluid ounces, which makes it perfect, of course, for travel, commuting. Sometimes I will just keep this in my bag. I'll just keep it on me so that I can reapply. I am not great at reapplying my sunscreen. I'm consistent. In the last I've been wearing sunscreen for many years. It is rare for me to miss a day. And if I miss a day of sunscreen, one time I just forgot to put it on, and I couldn't turn back, and I didn't have any on me. This was not this brand, it was another brand. It was years ago. And the other times I've been sick or hospitalized. It's unusual for me not to have sunscreen on. Indoors, outdoors, pandemic, indoors all the time, sunscreen every day. I never missed a day. This is a personal thing, but do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. Look up the reasons why you should wear sunscreen indoors, outdoors, what it might mean to your skincare health. And a tip that I got from YouTube comments, do your due diligence, but it blew my mind because in all the years I've been wearing sunscreen, I never put it on my ears. And someone in the comments, YouTube comments, there's a video about sunscreen or UPF or something. They commented their grandmother got skin cancer on her ears. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I haven't been putting this on my ears. So that was about 2 months ago, and I now put my sunscreen on my ears. What do I love about this besides the size? I'll just show you real quick. So you see it goes on white, and that's loud, goes on white and pretty thick. And then you think, or I think like, oh, is it gonna rub in? And well, at least the first time I used it, I've been using it for over 5 years now. Look at that, perfect. The sunscreen I started out with years ago had a white cast to it. And I would have like white, bluish looking eyebrows and a white cast. It was not cute, but I was healthy. So I just wore it until I found like many years of trials and tribulation and testing. I tell you, we're in such a good place with skincare. Kids will never know. Let's move on. Follow of the week. Kenny L. Song. I subscribed to him on YouTube. Story time. I was on YouTube. YouTube serendipitously popped up his video. He's a foodie YouTuber, one of his YouTube shorts. I subscribed immediately. His editing is flawless. Chef's kiss. The transitions, the lighting, the music that he chooses. He has a gorgeous voice. And like he will tell a story time or he'll walk through a recipe. It's cinematic. It's cinematic. If you are into cinematography, editing, food, story time, behind the scenes, check out his YouTube channel. I highly recommend it. I'm gonna have a link in the description. You can also just type in Kenny L Song on YouTube. And I know he's on TikTok. I'm not sure about his other socials. I admire him so much. And if he ever comes out with an online course or any course, like if he did a workshop in person on editing and film, I would take it. He is a big part of the reason why I took a film and editing course in person actually earlier this year, actually the beginning of the year. I think it started in January 2024. I just find him to be so inspiring, and I aspire to get to his level of editing. Last year, this time, I had little to no experience in editing. Like I'm on a different path now, and part of it is from watching his videos. So anyway, on a related note, if there's something that you're good at or you're practicing, consider sharing it and talking about it and putting it out there, because he will probably never know who I am, but he really is such an inspiration to me. And I am going to take some kind of course, another course, or maybe many courses on film editing. And again, he's a part of that, because I see things in my mind that you don't see in these videos. Like I do edit it, but I said, it's different from last year. I wasn't editing anything. I was one take Taylor or nothing, that's just the way it was. I still am. If you watch more than one video, you'll hear me say, or even my podcast episodes, like, I'm just going to keep going. I don't edit that much, but even the editing that I'm doing now, it's a pretty big deal compared to where I was last year, which was nothing. Like now I'm experimenting with, like I used to get nervous opening iMovie, and now it's the only thing I use. And maybe I'll move on to other things. Anyway, he's an inspiration and I highly recommend him. I want to say a couple other things. So you'll see this in the comments if you decide to check out his YouTube shorts or if you're already familiar with him. But besides all the things I described, I used to subscribe to way more foodie YouTubers than I do now. And I stopped subscribing from them, not because their recipes weren't great, not because they're not amazing, cool content creators, but it's me. I'm a bit of a prude, for sure. But at the same time, a lot of the foodie content was just feeling to me wildly inappropriate. And if you know, like I just came here to learn about recipes or cooking or to see good looking food. And there were too many innuendos for me. So a top comment that you will see besides Kenny's amazing editing skills, folks often comment on how like they can watch his foodie videos because it's just about food and storytelling. And he is, I'm not saying it's the Disney Channel version of food. I'm just saying I feel quite comfortable watching his content and obviously recommending it. All right, let's move on to this week's topic. I'm talking about online courses. This is something I've talked about before. I'm going to start with sharing resources basically because I don't forget. So on the Snacky Says podcast, which is one of my podcasts, I talked about online courses. What year are we in? So this is like over 2 years ago, back in 2022. And that episode was called Online Courses, 4 Tips. Where is it? I have a feeling the sound is going to start playing when I click on this. It's not coming up. Sorry, I should be looking at you. It's online courses, 4 tips to, I have to copy it. Oh, this is frustrating. Hold on, now I'm gonna have to pause it. Now, I was like, oh, I don't edit that much. Now will I have to edit this out? Hold on, I wanna find the right title. Found it. I ended up having to go to my Substack. I had my Spotify open and I couldn't see the whole title, maybe because I was looking online and not in the app. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get to it. So online courses, 4 tips to save you money, time, and energy. And then the other resource I have for you is from a more recent podcast episode, and that is from my Joddie Tried It podcast. And it is Skill Gaps and Upskilling Tips from Joddie Taylor's latest episode. I'm not sure I love that title now, but that was the title. And I also talk about Kenny L's song in that episode. I think this is probably the 4th time in the last year or 2 that I've mentioned him. I'm a fan. So those are my 2 resources. They'll be in the description, and I'm going to touch on a little bit of what I spoke about in those 2 podcast episodes. The reason why I wanted to talk about online courses are a few. So I have spent thousands of dollars and many more hours on online courses the last 7+ years. And I have some ideas and some thoughts on it. And I am going to speak from the point of view as a student, as a client, as someone who has purchased courses. And I can do another episode on the point of view as someone who is creating a course, because I think they are related but 2 different topics. So let's start with some criticisms of online courses. And if you are into personal and professional development, you will know that there was a boom several years ago. I mean, it really seemed to take off during the pandemic, but even before then, of folks selling courses. And there was this idea, and I'm speaking from, and I don't think you'll hear me say stuff like this too much, but I think it is important to acknowledge the elephant in the room. So one of the cons, or one of the arguments against online courses, is, how can I put this? Sometimes it would appear that the folks who are teaching online courses, let's say the topic is how to catch butterflies, and then the bulk of the money they make, and I have nothing against this, ain't nothing going on but the rent. I am not counting anybody's pockets. I'm not judging anyone. Get that bread. The bulk of the money, let's say catching butterflies, the bulk of the money that they make is not from catching butterflies, but from selling a course on how to catch butterflies. So I can see where there could possibly be some friction. And I have purchased many, many courses. And over time, I've realized, like, oh, mostly what this person does is sell courses. They're not actually doing the thing anymore. So maybe they're kind of out of touch. So that's a kind of con. And I think it's worth mentioning up front, because sometimes what you're buying is an idea or a philosophy, or maybe you're just helping to, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're helping to support someone's livelihood. And again, nothing wrong with that. I bring that up because I think it's important, and it's something that I've seen come up recently. Even I was watching a YouTube video on Newsbreak. I don't know if you're familiar with that app or that site, but you can write. I'm not that familiar with it. It just came on my radar a few weeks ago, but you can get paid to write on this app. Again, I don't know that much about it, but when I was looking into it, because I was like, what is this? I came across a YouTube video, and the YouTuber made a point of saying, I don't sell courses. I just want to show you how I was able to make X amount of money on Newsbreak. And then again, in the same kind of research process, I came across someone else who was like, hey, I don't sell courses. So it's kind of like, I've noticed this division, for lack of a better word, where folks want to make it clear, like, hey, I'm not trying to sell you something. And again, I also want to make clear, I'm not against that, because make that bread. If your way of making money is selling courses, I say go for it. I don't have anything against it. As a consumer, it's up to me to decide, which is what I'm going to talk about next. Do I want to spend money and time on this course, and is it for me? So let's talk about that. After spending lots of money and many years taking online courses, which most of them I have never finished and will never finish, what I've come to realize is the important thing with the online courses, Am I interested? Number one. Am I going to use this course? Meaning, am I going to take this course and implement it? Because if I am, we're good to go. And then number three is the cost. I have paid anywhere from $9. If you're familiar with Elizabeth Goddard, or you might know her as Lizzie Goddard, she literally has a course. I'll put a link in the description. I'm an affiliate. I purchased the course on $9 offers. And there's a case to be made for $9 offers, like mini courses, a mini workshop, an ebook, et cetera, et cetera. From $9 to, I think the most I've ever paid for an online course is $1,000. And I have to say, that's only happened twice. And each time I was like, could have had a V8. Remember that commercial? It wasn't, and it just wasn't the best fit for me. And then there are reasons for that. So going back to the implementation. So one course I bought, I would actually recommend, but I'm not going to go into it. I did finish the course, but I didn't come up with a product. And maybe I'll mention it at some point. It's not like it's a secret, but I do recommend it. I think it was timing. So I bought this course at a time when I did not have the time to commit to the product and the process and actually producing something. But I was trying to make it work and it didn't work. And I also was not in the headspace to take on that project. Like I had things going on. Don't we all? But it just was not a good time. And then the other one, I watched this person online for over a year before I finally spent the $1,000 and bought her course. And I found once I got into the course, I'm very sensitive. I don't know what this expression is, but how to say it, but aesthetics? I don't know. I actually returned a course that I spent $500 on, I think, because it was in like tan and red and it was driving me crazy. I just couldn't. And I was lucky enough to get a refund because there was no way. And anyway, this other course did not offer refunds. And something about the layout was clunky and I didn't find that it was all that informative for me. This is all subjective, but it was a virtual assistant course. And I ended up working as a virtual assistant, but I didn't use anything that I learned in that course. And I also have to say, looking back, I was not in this space. This is like, I was not in the space to take that course, or maybe I shouldn't even have spent the money. And I mean the headspace. Like I just probably needed to have a hot cup of sit your butt down. You know, if you've had a hard time, or you feel sad or depressed, or you have things that you should probably handle. Cautionary tale here. Don't worry about spending $1,000 on a course. The course isn't going to go anywhere. It'll be there when you have the headspace. This is my opinion. I'm talking to my past self. Relax. You don't need that course. And you don't need to spend that much money on a course you're not going to use. So that's why I'm just chatting. I have the episodes I've talked about similar stuff before, but I had a feeling I should talk about this, and so I'm talking about it. When you're trying to, and again, I'm talking about me, when you're trying to make money, Dina Lou, who I mentioned, I think, in another series, not this series, in my Money Making Monday series, Dina Lou, I'm going to put a link in the show notes. She has a video talking about like why your business isn't successful. And one of the reasons why I haven't had success, because I was like, I feel attacked watching this video. It's stuff like signing up for online courses and chasing money, and ain't nothing going on with the rent. So there's nothing wrong with that. Asterisk, please. I feel like something bit me. Asterisk, please see below. But for me, it wasn't always a good fit because I was like, oh, okay, here's this thing people are doing. They're creating journals. Let me take a course and create journals, which I literally did. Excuse me. I don't have my Stanley cup. So I made all these journals and I didn't make money. One thing that I'm always interested in is creating books and ebooks and digital planners and digital journals. I've taken many courses, at least 6, whether it was ebooks, digital planners, digital journals. And in theory, and I've watched YouTube videos and sat there and gone through, on my iPad or on my laptop. In theory, this should fit me so well because I'm really interested in the design and using them in theory. But no matter how many courses I take, it's not something that I am drawn to. And I was literally, this is just a chat. It's not a rant, but a chat. I was literally thinking about this yesterday, like, maybe I should stop buying courses like that because I'm not drawn to it. Like in theory, I'm like, this is a good fit. I am going to learn how to do blah, blah, blah. Even if it's a free YouTube video, even if I pay for it, I will look at the course. I'll go through the course. I'll even finish the course, but then I won't keep at it. Like if you, I mentioned before, like if you go on my Etsy shop, I have an Etsy shop. I have digital planners and digital journals, and I made them years ago. Like 2 years ago, maybe even more than that, maybe 3 years ago. And in theory, it's something I'm really interested in. Here comes the lighting again. Will I ever figure this out? Kenny L. Song, please create your own filming class. Actually, I think a light blue in here. Wrong details. Anyway, online courses. I kind of lost my train of thought. Squirrel. Online courses, I think they are in theory great. But no buts, they are great. And I've spent lots of money, but you know what? The courses that were worth it to me, some of them were literally $9. I mentioned Jessica Williams' Side Hustle Idea Kickstart. It's a $9 course. I hope she raises the price because it's worth a lot more than that. But it helped me so much, and it didn't even take a whole week. It's like literally breadcrumbs. Like day 1, do this. Day 2, do that. Day 3, do this. It didn't even take a whole week. Marvelous experience. And I had, I like when I have a finished product, or whether it's a physical product or a digital product or something is done. I'm on to the next step. So again, this is a bit of a chat, and maybe I'll circle back to this. But if you're thinking about investing in a course, ask yourself, there are a few questions. Can I afford this? Am I going to use it right now? Am I in a mental and emotional place? Because maybe it's not like going to university or grad school or college or, studying for a big exam, but it does take time. It will take your time and resources to go through this course. Now, if it's a mini course, like I said, it might take a week. It might take an hour, what exactly do you want from the course? Like, what kind of product or what result do you want? Is this something you are going to implement right away? A trap that I fell into, for lack of a better expression, or term, I would buy courses on sale because I was like, and this is true about courses, they never, ever go on sale. Well, maybe there's been one exception, but it's very, very rare. Like, let's say a course comes out and it's $100. It'll never be $100 again. They'll just keep raising the price, raising the price, raising the price. There's an Amazon influencer course I was interested in, and I had no idea how much it would cost. But to my surprise, on sale, it was like a literally 24-hour sale. It was $300 something. And I was like, I can't, because I'm not making that money from Amazon. It just doesn't make any sense. And I had already spent a total of $150 on another course, which I had not made $150 at that point. And so that course, then I didn't take advantage of the 24-hour sale, and the regular price was like $500, and now it's up to $1,000, and it'll probably keep going and going and going and going. But maybe they'll have another sale, or maybe I'll make more money and it'll make more sense. And I got this idea from Michelle Jackson of Creators Getting Paid on Substack. She basically told me, I'm going to say how I talk, but she was like, yo, chill, relax with the courses, relax, stop. Don't buy any more courses for the rest of this year. And she said that to me, I think in August. And she's like, don't buy it unless they're $25. or less. And I have since purchased 3 courses, and they were all exactly $25 or less. And they're basically like mini courses or an intro offer. And she was right, because even though I spent $25 or less on those 3 courses, I only completed one, and that was Jessica Williams' side hustle idea kickstart, and I loved it. So I'm not even doing $25. I'm not even purchasing $25 courses now. I've put a, what's the word? Moratorium? Moratorium? That's not it. I sound like I'm trying to cast a spell. I'm not buying any more courses. Certainly for the rest of this year, because I think I need to figure out, do I really need it? You know, can I afford it? Do I want to spend this money? Is it something I'm going to implement now? And that's the most important thing. So I've purchased things, like I said, that were on sale, and I was like, I'm not going to use it now, but it's such a great price, and I don't want to pay more later. But what does it matter if it's just sitting, it's now digital clutter. It's just sitting on my iPad. It's sitting on my laptop. I forgot that I purchased it. I literally have a spreadsheet. I'll put the link in the description. It's from Wild and Solo. I literally have a spreadsheet, a digital purchases tracker spreadsheet. And I'll go through it and be like, oh, I totally forgot I bought that. That's not the experience that I want to have. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of money. And as someone who has created courses and created online content, digital products, the greatest compliment to me is when someone not only buys something, but they use it. And in my my dreams, my goal, like the number one compliment someone could ever say to me is, I really needed that. I loved that. I wanted that. Not so much I loved it, because anyone, can look at something and love it and appreciate, but that they actually got value from it, and it's what they needed and what they wanted, what they were looking for. That's as a creator, someone who is selling something. So I want for myself and for you, if you want the same thing too, when I do purchase the online course, it's like, oh, this is what I really need to take me to the next level, to upskill, to learn a new skill, something I'm going to use. And it doesn't have to be for making money per se. It could be like just something you're interested in. Like me and my knuckles, I had a thought the other day. There's so many things that I want to do and so many things I haven't done. And I keep saying, like, oh, I'm going to give you an example. So I've studied 3 or 4, 5 foreign languages, foreign to me languages, from high school to now. And I don't speak any of them fluently. And one of the things I've said practically all my life is I really want to speak a foreign language or a second language fluently, but I haven't made that happen. And it's hard to make something happen when you're not focused on it. So I need to sign up for a course, like in person or online. I want to make that happen and set some goals around it. So something like that, that's specific to me, to something I want to do, that kind of makes sense. So it would be worth it. And I have a specific idea. I don't know if I ever shared this publicly, but I have an idea to do a podcast episode or maybe a YouTube video in Chinese. That's the latest language I have been studying. I haven't been studying much this year. I was way better last year, even though I'm up to date with my Chinese mini dramas. Never underestimate if you're studying a foreign language. I wish this is something that I realized years ago, but never underestimate background noise. Like, put on the TV, put on a podcast in the language that you want to study, and just let it run. When I was studying Korean, the thing that catapulted my comprehension, my speaking skills never got where I wanted them to go, but the thing that catapulted my comprehension was Kung Fu Panda. I watched it and listened to it so many times over the course of a year or more that I began to understand it more and more, just like anyone would. A kid, an adult, a senior citizen, when you hear things, you start to differentiate the words and the terms. This is getting, okay, we're at 30 minutes. Not like I have a time limit, but I'm going to end here. I guess where I was going with this chat on online courses is cautionary tale over here. You don't have to spend tons of money and tons of time. Have this mini list in your head. Can I afford it? Am I really interested? Am I really interested in creating digital planners or ebooks or portraits? Am I really interested in it? Because the more interested you are, the more likely you are to finish the course and create the thing and keep going with it. In my opinion, tell me what you think. And then, am I going to implement it? So I'm shaking the tripod again. Those are the things that go through my head. And if like going back to, I think what I was saying in the beginning, the course creator, is this going to be a transaction? You know, like you're just going to buy the course and go about your business? Or is this someone that you admire and you want to follow and you want to be part of their customer journey, where you start out with the course and then you're going to their workshops and you're buying their books? That is something else to consider. And I think that's where, going back to the beginning, it's like, I think that's where in the online personal and professional development space, some folks they start to detach, and that is fine. That is fine. I'm going to bring up Michelle Jackson again from Creators Getting Paid. I don't think this was a newsletter. I feel like she might have said in one of her notes on Substack, but it is okay to join a membership or a course or follow someone or subscribe and then unsubscribe. Leave the membership. Stop taking the course, because they're temporary sometimes. They're just for a season. It's not a legally binding agreement. You're not marrying this person. So it's okay. You evolve, they change. You know, like you're watching this right now, you're listening. Maybe you're like me, or I consider myself like an intermediate beginner in the micro business space or small business space. And maybe one day I'll be advanced. And maybe one day I won't be talking about, oh, I made $133 in 5 weeks. Maybe I'll be talking about, oh, I made $30,000 in 5 days. And you can't relate. There's nothing wrong with making a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with making a little bit of money. It's like what you are interested in at that time, what you are into, you know, where we align. Shall we end here? When I started, it was sunny. There was like sun on my face. And now you can see light and it's dark on this side. Well, I think it's the mirror image. Okay, let's end here. I was going to go for a walk, but now it's getting dark. Thank you if you got this far. I appreciate you. I'm on a journey myself with these videos. You can probably tell, but they're not scripted. So I'm just chatting. I did have a very good idea of what I wanted to talk about, and I'll continue to play with the format. I moved the follows to the front, to the beginning, because I really want to share and highlight other folks. And according to YouTube, most of you probably aren't watching this right now, so that's why I put it at the beginning. But I do notice it seems like folks, if they don't watch the entire video or half of the video or just some of it, folks do seem to go to the description, which I find interesting. Because with podcasts, I found the opposite to be true. Almost no one seemed to go to the show notes, but it seemed like folks were listening and downloading. It's really ending here. Thank you for listening. Please watching or listening. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend or three. Thank you.